From a brutal heat wave to the season's first hurricane showing up on some of our computer models. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice. We got a lot to talk about before you get into the weekend. My job here is to prepare you for what you need to know so you can go into next week knowing a little bit more about what could be coming our way. We're keeping an eye on the tropics. There's a big mess in the Gulf that is provided for a very muggy air mass, but with a big dome of high pressure coming in, we shift away from tropical moisture to dry weather and a lot of heat building. But deep out into the Atlantic, we have the potential for a tropical wave to turn into a tropical storm, and some models even hint at a hurricane. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice. If you're new to this channel, please like this video, comment in the comment section where you're watching from, and subscribe to this channel now. My goal, as always, is to give you a direct approach to the weather, let you know what I'm seeing when I see it so that you are prepared. I will not hype anything. I'm going to be direct with you, but I'm also not going to sugarcoat it. When it's time to be concerned, I'm going to let you know. And in this case, folks, we need to stay dialed in. I'm going to show you the comments from my last video here in just a minute. It amazes me. It amazes me where you folks are watching from. So I'll give some shout outs here and just want to say thank you. Just thank you for watching right now, wherever you're at. This is a blessing for me to be able to do what I love, not only on TV, but here on the internet. And I love seeing where you're watching from. So please, if you're new to the channel, if you've been watching for a while, dial in right now in the comments and let me know where you're dialing in from. Okay, let's show you what's happening. Notice how there's this kind of shape, almost like a curve, a half moon going through the Midwest. Why is there a shape like that? Well, that's a big ridge of high pressure. That is the first telltale sign, and that's the severe weather risk tomorrow. There's going to be some storms in those areas. But when you look closer at the pattern and what we're seeing here locally, there's a big dome, and you can see where that is. On the ring of fire, the outer edge of that dome, where there's sinking air, the outer edge is sometimes a boundary that can create severe weather. So that's where that's going to set up tomorrow. But this big dome takes shape and really reaches a peak sometime Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's going to be really brutal. I mean, this heat wave is more than just your average heat. So many people, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. We're on the internet, right? We're friends. We can be real with each other. It annoys me to no end when people say, it's summertime, it's supposed to be heat. We're just supposed to trudge on through it. Guys, I get it. I played outdoor sports. I played football. I played baseball. We had many games that were just brutal. We had many practices. I grew up on a farm. I know what it's like to work outside day after day and to not be able to get into air conditioning. So this is different. This is dangerous kind of heat. And to be honest with you, we talk about hurricanes a lot. We talk about tornadoes a lot. You combine both of those, they don't even get them close to totaling the amount of deaths that occur from heat waves every year in the United States. That is mind-boggling to me. We're supposed to be getting better at these things. We're getting worse at these things as time goes on. The average amount of deaths per year for heat is going up over the last 5 years average, 10 years average, 15-year average. It's not good. And when you look at some of the tragic stories within those numbers, young children, elderly that can't escape homes when power goes out, or they just don't have air conditioning. Just really, really sad. Even top athletes. You hear all the time about athletes in their prime getting impacted by heat. Well, let's show you where it's going, because the storms, the relief from any kind of storm, rain, is just not going to be found. So this is going to be a dry heat for us going into tomorrow. One of those days where there might not even be a cloud in the sky, parts of the Carolinas, Georgia, into Florida. And that's going to be for brutal temperatures. Let's show you some of those. Let's go into first, let's look closer at Saturday. Here we are going into Saturday afternoon. Let me refresh this. Got highs in the low to mid 90s. Sunday, look at this. We're getting into the 100s, triple-digit heat. Monday afternoon. If you didn't reach triple-digit heat the first day, you probably will that second day. I mean, this is just brutal, brutal heat. And that's just the thermometer, what the thermometer reads. Let's look at the air temperature, what the apparent temperature will be, the heat index. When you combine the humidity with the high temperature. Saturday, 100 to 105. Let's get into Sunday. From Florida to the Carolinas, we're talking 105 to 110. I think I saw a 114 in there for Monday. Let's scroll to Monday. Look at this. I mean, Monday and Tuesday just look absolutely brutal across the Midwest, down through Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas. Carolinas look to be the epicenter for the most brutal part of this heat wave. 111 in Columbia. Going into Tuesday, Tuesday afternoon, sitting right there again, 107 in many communities here. Just absolutely brutal. And it looks like we're going to stay hot. These are air temperatures, folks. This is what the model is saying for air temperatures at GSP International. Just picking Greenville for an example. Your town will very much be like it because there's plus or minus 2 or 3 degrees from Charlotte to Atlanta to Orlando to Savannah to Charleston. Even up to DC, it's going to be so hot. When we look specifically at this heat wave, looks like it's going to be intact through at least the worst part of it through Tuesday, but really brutal Wednesday and Thursday. By Friday, you notice a sharp decline, 10 degrees, maybe even 15 degrees as we get wet going into next weekend. August 2nd, August 3rd look to be below normal by almost 10 degrees. So we go from extreme to below normal. Looks like rain accompanies that, and we need to watch that. We need to watch that because why are we so cool? So far below normal. Most of the time when you get that, it's a lot of rain, some cloud cover and some rain. And this time of the year, the only time you really get that is from some sort of pattern, maybe tropical characteristics mixed in there as well. Let's look at the impacts of this. This is kind of a neat map that I want to show you as far as heat impacts. This shows you the degree to which this heat is going to be. Saturday, we're in the red. That's a level 3 major. And if I look at my key over here, major affects anyone without cooling or hydration as well as health systems and industries. Okay. All right, let's look at Sunday. Sunday, there's a lot more purple showing up. Remember I said that the Carolinas are probably going to take the epicenter for this heat wave? Look at that. A lot of purple. Let me get to Monday, then I'll explain to you what purple is. Look at this. Now purple's extended to Atlanta, South Georgia, Greenville, Anderson, we're up the I-85 corridor into Charlotte. That's in place again on Tuesday, almost an identical day. Wednesday, very similar, hanging out in the upstate. Again, the upstate of South Carolina, the worst in the country from this heat wave. And then Thursday, it's backing down a notch. By Friday, what is that? Yellow? Oh my goodness, that's beautiful. We'll look forward to that. The magenta or the purple here is extreme rare or long duration extreme heat with no overnight relief affecting anyone without a cooling or hydration system, as well as health system, industries, and infrastructure. This is when you get power problems, folks, whenever you're this hot in this purple color. So that's something we need to stay dialed in on. If there's anything to look forward to, it's those first few days of August. The models, our outlook here is saying we'll either be near normal or slightly below normal, which, hey, we'll take it. We'll also take what's going on in the tropics this weekend. We get a little bit of a break. Now, you're watching right now in the Panhandle of Florida and saying it has been raining nonstop. Parts of Florida has just gotten it again this week. We've seen rain, and more rain. Well, we need to stay dialed in on this because though we're in the midst of a heat wave here, and you likely won't see rain for a few days, or at least widespread rain, we're going to see a pattern here that shows a more active hurricane pattern moving forward. And we need to especially stay dialed in on what happens first here across the Caribbean islands. There's a couple of waves inbound right now. They're not really doing much, but if I show you the map deeper out to the Cape Verde Islands, this area in the main development region needs to be watched closely. I'm going to unpack the models first, and I'll show you the European because it's been the most aggressive at trying to identify some threads. And yes, it has shown our season's first hurricane might be possible on the European ensembles. Let me show you what I mean by that. Here's the normalized anomaly. This is basically the latest run of the European. And is it above normal or below normal low pressure? Well, in this case, we're looking out for blue. Blue would be low pressure and would not be a good thing. So as we go into the next couple of days, next week, notice that blue sniffing out right here. This is the operational run. This is not the average of them all. A lower pressure moves in this Friday toward the Caribbean islands. Notice that little hole amidst all the red. That's low pressure among high pressure. Gets a little more together as it goes toward Puerto Rico, the Bahamas by the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Now you got a little low pressure system. Is that something tropical? Is it not tropical? A little too early to say. Doesn't look to be strong on the operation model, whatever that critter is. Let's look at the European ensembles. This is an average of all 51 different runs and shows you the lowest pressure in them. This gives you a little more idea of what the models are showing as far as Friday. You got another feature here, something approaching the Caribbean islands, Windward and Leeward Islands, by the time we get to Thursday night, Friday. This one wants to cross it into the Caribbean, We're to 999 low. Lower pressure coming in here. There you go. Then we get into Sunday, next weekend. Got a big low showing up here off the coast of Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and then it goes up through the Bahamas or close to it. And you got a big swath of the European here that says by that first week of August, man, we got to stay dialed in the southeast, especially the Carolinas. Does something get close to the Outer Banks? Does it go farther out to sea? Does it thread that needle? And all this kind of originates from the same feature, this wave that comes off the coast of Africa this week. Now, we know that when you track a low-pressure system off the coast of Africa, it normally has 12 days. If it were to go straight toward the United States, 12 days is what it would take to get there. So this kind of lines up with that feature that forms this week. Whatever it is, some of these European models are showing, hey, could be concerning as it gets closer to the southeast. This is another way of looking at it. This is the ensemble, all 51 models averaged together. Shows that feature cropping up here Monday, Tuesday in the Cape Verde Islands. By Wednesday, Thursday, it's forming into something tropical. And then it goes in a path sort of like that. So does something form here and move this way? It's very possible. And it's in that area of the Atlantic that's not too high, but also not too low. So that would kind of send it in its path like this around the Bermuda High. Does it get close to the Caribbean islands here? Northern island chains, lower island chains. Doesn't look like it's going to spill into the Caribbean on this kind of trajectory. Caribbean, it says you got to stay more dialed into it for Central America here for what could form this week as well. So we might get a hatched area here and here. That would not at all surprise me. So we need to stay dialed in on it. Here's another way to look at it. This is the ensemble. This is all of them. You're going to see all the runs. Notice the feature that it identifies right here near the Cape Verde Islands by Monday, Tuesday. Now I'm going to advance this model out. Now you're looking at each low pressure and what the model says the strength would be on it. So that feature moves west Thursday into Friday. Here Friday is across the Caribbean Islands. It's got anywhere from what I can see a 998 up to 1003, 1012. That would be nothing. And I look at the colors here on my scale. A green to yellow to orange. Yellow to orange would get close to hurricane. I don't see many hurricane tracks, but I do see a few. So the European is saying up to a hurricane. This one's a hurricane. There's 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 hurricanes in this. The rest are tropical storms. And then you got a swath of them that wants to peel it back around toward Bermuda, which happens a lot. You got a couple of them that start it strong and end it strong. That's that one that dipped down to like a 960 low. That'd be a strong hurricane. That's just one of 51. The rest of them are sitting in that camp of Cat 1, up to a Cat 1 possible. All right, so how about the GFS? Is it buying it? Is it not buying it? Let's scrub through. In analyst mode here, okay, it's got a feature. It's got something here on Thursday the 31st. All right, a little something. Again, same time frame, same area. So there's model consistency. There's something there. It's weak in the GFS model. It too, it's interesting. It too, you notice how it was weak, and then really intensifies as it heads closer to the United States. I mean, big time. That's interesting. Why does it not intensify deeper out here? It's possible that it encounters some drier air here. Dry air, then it gets into this ridge of higher pressure, and there's not much to stop it. So it gets toward the Gulf Stream. It looks like as it gets closer to the Gulf Stream, it strengthens here as it gets closer to Florida on the GFS model. And this says it spins up into the Gulf and fantasy land here. This is way on out. But it's the same feature, and if we're looking at 12 days from right now, folks, that gets us into that whole first week of August for something that forms within the next 2 or 3 days off the coast of Africa. Then we watch it for 12 days. So we're likely to get something that forms, and we're watching that something for probably the next 10 days. All right, so the GFS and the European model, as you saw there, kind of giving you their opinion of what it is right now for what it's worth. Let's back up the German model, the Icon. Does it sniff out the same wave? Getting into this week. There it is. Okay. So Thursday and Friday, there it is. Same thing, same feature. All right. It's there on the icon. All right. It's strong on the icon. This is Friday. Same exact location as the GFS and the European, same day, just different intensity. It's going around that high right there. So that high is sending it, and there's a little kink in that high. So does it follow this high up and around and go in between the Outer Banks and Bermuda? That would be the best guess answer at this point. Or does that high keep it going west? Weaker would go west. Stronger would try to get picked up and turned. But when you get a strong system in here, it's hard to turn it. It's like turning a school bus. They don't want to turn easy, so they only slowly turn. Hurricanes, tropical storms don't turn on a dime. All right, it's the difference between a sports car and a bus. So as we move forward, what we need to stay dialed in on, of course, first and foremost, is the heat wave. That is by far going to have the most impacts out of anything we're going to face in the next week to 10 days. I need you to be careful. I need you to check on your neighbor. I need you to just take some extra precautions here as we map out what's possibly coming our way. In addition to that, we need to stay dialed in on the tropics, because the tropics are going to be one of those things that get a lot more active. And it's one of those situations where we've been watching some little things here and there, but we really haven't gotten into anything big in hurricane season so far this year. So for my friends watching in the Caribbean islands, I know you're there. I'm about to read your comments, which just, again, blows my mind. But I want you to stay dialed in on what's coming in and what may be coming our way. So the comments, folks, this just blows my mind. You guys had almost 117 different locations as to where you're watching from. Got people from Louisiana, north of Orlando. Hi, Linda, Christopher. Thank you for watching. Isabel watching from the U.S. Virgin Islands. We got Sean from Gutiérrez, Mississippi. Did I say that right? I think I said it right. Allie's watching from Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Thank you, Allie. Got Brenda from Jacksonville. Pinky Pookie from Covington, Louisiana. Central Florida, Toledo, Central Florida. Got a lot of my hometown people in Greenville and Spartanburg. We got New Orleans right now. We got a comment here. I appreciate how seriously you take the heat. I'm on several medications and have several health issues. So sorry to hear that. My mother and I will likely be working from home the next week because of how hot it will be. Your videos are much appreciated. Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you so much. St. Augustine, Florida, Goldsboro, North Carolina. Robert in the house. Seattle, Washington, Pensacola. We got Oak Island, North Carolina, Tampa, Florida. Michelle watching from Jamaica. Hi. We got Mississippi Gulf Coast here. We got Love Valley, North Carolina, Greer, South Carolina, Birmingham, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, Lakeland, Florida, Martinique, French Caribbean. Thank you, Ronald. Please share this with your friends, your family. I'll keep you posted all throughout hurricane season. Let's see. We got St. Vincent and the Grenadines is hot. Colin, thank you for watching. Please share with your family and friends. Jupiter, Florida. Louisiana, hot in St. Augustine. Thanks, John. Barbados in the house. Helen, thank you for watching in Barbados. Pelzer's in the house. Naples, Florida. Tallahassee. Cam from Jamaica. Hi, Cam. Valdosta, Georgia. West Palm Beach. Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, Angela. Please share with your family and friends. We'll keep you dialed in all year. Karen's watching from Hendersonville, my hometown. The UK, very warm here too. We will keep you posted. Barbados in the house. Hoping the western trajectory of the tropical wave suggests a potential impact in the Windward and Leeward Islands. We remain very optimistic for a favorable outcome. I hope so as well. Thank you for watching. No doubt. We're going to pray for that. Trinidad and Tobago here. Just Trinidad. All right. Thank you for watching. Maryland in the house. Pensacola. We got Grenada in the house. Leland, North Carolina. Houston, Texas. Lakeland, Florida. I mean, just really, it just blows my mind what what the internet does these days. And just want to thank you guys for watching. St. Lucia's in the house with Colin. Kissimmee, Florida. Another one from Grenada here. U.S. Virgin Islands. Frank's watching right now. Virginia Beach, Florida. Virginia. Center, Alabama, Lexington, North Carolina, Miami, Florida, Northwestern Illinois, Eastern North Carolina, Jacksonville, Florida, Sumter, South Carolina, Holiday, Florida, St. Petersburg, Cancun, Mexico, East Coast of Florida. What else we got here? Charlotte, North Carolina, and then Hagerstown, Maryland, and Central Florida as well. Folks, just blows my mind, all of you guys watching right now, and I just can't thank you enough for your support and, allowing me this opportunity to do what I love and provide the weather to you. One thing's for sure, I'll stay on top of the models here, but they're saying, hey, there's something that's going to form off the coast of Africa. We need to watch it. Possibly going to be a long track, long-term thing, and that's a marathon, folks. I've learned a long time ago that these things are marathons. You got to stay dialed in on them. It's not time to freak out by any means. It's not time to get worked up. It's time to get dialed in. Time to start thinking, okay, it's hurricane season. There's something out there to watch. Probably need to check back in. And folks, I will keep you posted. Another one of these videos later this weekend. Be safe with your family. Try to take it easy. And folks, just take it easy in that heat. Even the most seasoned athletes have to be careful in this kind of heat. I'll keep you posted.